try.
All right. Welcome back to Big Sack Lunch, episode 18 with Ryan and Mitchie. This is Ryan.
This is Mitchell.
And we have a special guest today. Mitchell, why don't you introduce him?
Do you have a catchphrase?
Do I have a catchphrase?
That's a spicy a meatball. That.
Yeah, that totally goes along with my ethnicity, I think. It's a perfect match.
This is China Ryan.
Yeah, there's another Ryan. There's China and there's me. But I'm not Chinese, but he is.
That's why we need nicknames. So
yeah, and he made up his own nickname. It's not racist. And if it is, it's because he's racist.
Just want to clarify, it's not racist because I said it, so...
Yeah, it's China's own nickname. Basically, he started working here like 6 months ago, and I introduced myself, and I said I couldn't call another person my name. And then he said, that's okay, just call me China Ryan or Chinese Ryan, whatever. And so it was done. And here we are.
I'm doing this.
Crushing ass. So
Crushing ants.
any chicks that want to email us or are looking to have a good time with some cool dudes, email podblast2k12@gmail.com. Subject line, China or friendship. Or friendship through Christ. Either of those.
Friendship through Christ.
Yeah, because
that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's a good way to meet broads at the church.
Jesus sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means in the butt.
Right.
At my college, anyhow. At my college, those girls thought they could trick Jesus by doing it in the butt.
Yeah.
This is going to be our last show for a little while because Mitchell's going back to Rock Hills, Illinois.
Rock Falls.
Rock Falls.
Are you going anywhere?
No, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be around here. Living life.
Yeah?
You grew up here.
I
grew up in Big
Oh,
Game.
nice. What else? You're
I'm
QA.
going to Peru.
No,
he's
Ryan's
QA.
QA.
Yeah, China's QA. He assures our product is of the topmost quality.
Quality assurance.
I do what I can.
Shouldn't they call it quality engineer? That's the new term. When
Quality
I was
engineer is a little more technical, though.
Oh.
QA is like, apes can do it. So
So is that...
Chinese
the
apes?
Chinese ape, I think
Okay.
that's a panda. I'm not sure.
Have you seen Grandma's Boy? Is that what QA does?
Oh god, Grandma's Boy is fucking disgrace. It's the worst representation of QA to a certain degree. I mean, how it works, it doesn't work like that, but some of the people in there you'll meet that are a lot like that.
What about the robot dude?
The robot dude, I've met a few people that are like that.
Grandma's Boy, the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
You should give
'Cause
people some info.
We enjoy it, but just because it's so...
That's most
Out
people's introduction to what it's like in the gaming industry. At least from my
Is that
generation.
true?
For me, that's what I thought it was going to be like.
Not quite.
I didn't know that. Wait, I can't remember that movie because it was so fucking shitty. It's just
It was
a guy who
fun.
played video games and lived with his grandma?
Yeah, he worked in the game industry, but lived with his grandma.
What did it show his job duties being?
They never called it QA, but
He was QA.
they called him a tester,
Yeah.
which makes it like spawn that misconception that people can just get jobs playing games for the rest of their lives.
Well,
I think that
without any
misconception was
skills.
already there. I think that's why the movie even happened.
you could. You could. I don't know if it's going to pay the bills, but you could.
You could do it for $10 an hour. Sure.
Yeah.
Most places
It's
charge.
not going to cut it. Not in
Yeah.
San Francisco, where we live. Where
They do that for kids. We have like our whitelist players here that it's
They're unpaid.
That's
Yeah.
not really. Yeah, that's not.
They're
it's
not
more
testing.
like a privilege.
It's like focus group.
It's an
and you
honor.
come and pay them. Focus group is like they actually give you like $50 in pizza.
Yeah. Actually, he should do that. Mitchell has been known to
$50 in pizza.
steal toilet paper. Well, hold on. I used to, from like 2002 until like 2007, I'd do those video game focus groups. They'd give you $100 for an hour and a half, and they'd give you food to just sit there and talk about video game concepts. You ever done those?
Yeah.
I've done 100.
Well, you play a game. You play a game.
Play a
with them
game.
first, and then you just talk about it.
What?
And they get your feedback. They give you $50 and give you some food and
Dude, I'll do the
put
shit
you
out
on
of
your
that.
way.
They're all over Craigslist. You can also donate jizz.
Sony does that.
Oh.
Well, that's a different game altogether.
So gaming companies will approach you and
Yeah.
want to harness your jizz.
No. That's
I think that's the new PS4 capability or something.
yeah. There's a small bucket that connects to the USB port.
I saw Holes last night for the first time.
The adult movie?
No, the fucking Shia LaBeouf movie.
Oh,
Is it
I want to
there?
know who he has info on because he's got dirt on someone to keep getting cast in all these movies when he sucks such mad cock.
Who, like Danny DeVito?
You think he's got info on Danny DeVito? You mean Spielberg?
No, DeVito, bro.
Wait,
DeVito's directing now.
What is DeVito directed with Shia LaBeouf?
He's doing that TV show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Is he directing that?
I don't know if he's directing.
Hold on a second. Let's not get off the topic. Shia LaBeouf has a pretty significant movie career, right? He's in a lot of movies,
Yeah,
a lot
sure.
of big movies.
Would you call
How?
it significant?
Well,
He was in
insignificant.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
the
which
shitty
sucked
one.
ass. He was in Transformers.
But
They're
significant
huge movies.
title-wise, right?
From a Disney.
He's
started-
doing that new movie, like, what is it called? Nymphomaniac?
What? No,
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna watch that.
Yeah, I don't want to see
There's
it.
sex in it and titties.
There's a lot of sex in it.
Sold. Do you like titties? Do you queer?
Well, I mean, there's reason if you want to see that, there's porn, right? I mean,
Yeah. I was telling
Yeah.
China on the walk up to the building that yesterday I was trying to find porn, and you know how sometimes you hover over something and it like
You shouldn't be
flickers?
able to-
It accidentally went to gay. I didn't watch a video, but I
Wait,
went
wait.
to the thumbnails of gay porn.
While you're driving to work.
No.
you're looking for Porn?
While we were walking back from lunch, I was telling him about yesterday morning after the gym. I go home, and for some reason, like the font resized. So when I'm hovering over, like either in between Asian and anal or in between big tits and black, for some reason, like it went like this, and I clicked it, and then
They
gay
can't see
popped up.
what this is. It's sugar.
Well, it was flickering. Like when you hover your mouse over something and it flickers.
you
And
probably changed the zoom level of the page or something on accident.
I think I did. And anyhow, I accidentally
Or trying
clicked
to
gay.
zoom in too close to that gay porn or something.
I accidentally clicked gay. I didn't watch any of the videos, and
Wait.
there were just a bunch of thumbnails of dicks and guys' butts. It doesn't do
so
anything
to
for me.
recap,
Yeah,
you worked out. So
Yes.
you bench pressed a bunch of shit,
yeah.
and then you went home and jerked it. You jerked off vigorously.
I mean, I guess that's one way to summarize. The thesis of what I was talking about was that I accidentally got to a gay porn site, not what I did.
What I want to know
That's
is
the takeaway.
what I want to know is you were searching for porn. I don't think it's that hard to search for porn.
No, I was on porn. I was on Pornhub.com.
Okay, all right.
Dude, I have a lot of energy and testosterone. If I don't get it out, it's like a tornado.
Look, and I don't think any of us here are, against gays or whatever like that. It's
Yeah, we
whatever,
live
to each their
San
own.
Francisco.
Just
To each their own.
to each their own.
Which, yeah, well, that's a good motto, China.
We don't want to scare away the gay audience we have.
I don't think we'll
2
scare
people
them.
that listen right now.
Well, 2 times 1,000. Oh, there's
We love you.
Pablo.
Two guys that are listening.
It's Lee and my brother.
Lee and Abrams. Yeah, and we definitely don't want to scare away our gay audience in that case. So, no. Anyhow, it was just a quick little story about me accidentally getting to a gay porn.
So
porn link.
so you're going to Peru?
Yeah, I'm going to Peru in about 2 weeks for New Year's Eve, and then I'm landing on New Year's Day, and then I'm going to stay 10 days, check out Machu Picchu. The Spaniards, Mitchell will never go to Peru because it costs money to go there, but the Spaniards...
But once you're there, it doesn't cost anything, right?
Right. Well, no, I mean, the tour and the plane flights around there, it's another $1,500. I mean, any trip's going to be expensive. Europe's going to be $5,000. South America is going to be $3,000.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I want to do with my dough. That's the whole. If I'm not buying cool shit, then what am I working for? So there's some insane. I'm reading this book about Peru. It's 500 goddamn pages called The Last Days of the Incas. These 2 Incan brothers were fighting. I told China this earlier, and one of them, to defeat the other one, he went to that guy's town. He killed all of his wives, and he cut the babies out of their wombs and strangled them by their own umbilical cords and hung them from the mom's legs in the middle of the town.
Whoa. And that's
So,
why you're going there? What the
That's
fuck?
not why I'm going there.
You guys see that shit?
That's a horrible.
They don't do it
reason to go.
anymore. Unfortunately, they stopped doing that.
Unfortunately.
Well, dude, there needs to be less people in the world, right?
Yeah, but
No butts.
even if you were to get rid of people, I think there'd be better ways of going about doing that.
Well, that's a brutal way to do it, so that your enemy knows who his boss is.
How do you suggest controlling population?
Teach people about sex ed and let kids.
We're kinda already doing that.
There should be a not in the South, dude. It's a bigger deal. There should be a big ass bucket of rubbers in every guidance office in every high school in
Yeah.
America. You should just go in and grab rubbers, and if you grab rubbers, you shouldn't be ashamed. You should just be able to do it
They're
anonymously.
free in the Castro. I fucking
They're
stocked
free in
up.
a lot of places. I mean,
Yeah.
At issue isn't the Bay Area's, inability to educate people sexually. The problem is these poor southern and southeastern states won't teach kids about sex ed, so then they have a bunch of pregnant 13-year-olds. They just ignore it like it doesn't happen. It's called abstinence
I mean,
education.
abortion clinics hand them out like mints. Like
They're called.
you
You mean
leave,
Planned-
and it's like, here, don't do it again.
First of all, they're not called abortion clinics. Only like 1%, 1 or 2% of what Planned Parenthood does is abortion.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
What? I don't have. I personally have never aborted anything.
I've aborted feces and
Jesus, China. That's true.
large dumps and pretty much considered abortions if you call it.
That's
from
true.
my point of view.
That's true. For some reason, Pablo's looking for China. I don't know why.
Is he really?
I'm not sure.
How
that
did
he
you
is.
get that impression?
I don't know.
Did you leave a freaking note on his desk? God damn it.
God damn.
Are you serious?
No, I didn't say anything. I'm not serious or unserious because I didn't say anything. Basically, our China's been going around the office leaving people notes that he needs to speak with them at once and is
It's
most
not
urgent.
me.
Well, someone in China's place. Someone using China's good name.
Good name. China doesn't really have a good name in general. Sort of got Tiananmen Square going on.
Well, so I am going to Peru. I'm going to check out Machu Picchu. You should look it up, dude. These are some of the oldest. Like, there were millions of people living there before millions of people lived anywhere else. And
Before Hitler?
yeah, this was 500 years ago, dude. This was a long
What
time
happened
ago.
to him, though?
Spain came and fucked them up.
Was it Hitler?
No, it wasn't. It was a guy named Pizarro.
Bizarro?
Pizarro.
That's like a
Oh, okay.
WWF wrestler.
Bizarro? That's like Superman's villain, right?
Pizarro.
That's like the reverse Superman.
With a P. Listeners, the problem here is that the majority of the books that anyone in this office has read are comic books. So we're not going to get too deep into history. It's not going to happen. I would like to get balls deep in China's rectum, though. I just want that out in the open. What?
Again? I mean, Jesus.
China has a soft, spacious rectum.
Apparently.
Impingeable cheeks.
I keep a nice lounge couch in there just whenever someone comes in.
He has a lounge couch.
You know what I want to
in
talk
Sam's.
about that you might know a little something about?
Sure.
The Nintendo competitions.
What do you mean?
Like, the rarest thing that exists with, like, Nintendo memorabilia is that the games that they would take from those competitions, they would tour around all the American states, and they would let people play these special-made cartridges that were, like, they had, like, the Mario Lost levels, and then, like...
Really?
You would play, like, Excite Bike for 5 minutes. And they had, like, timers built in, so it would, like, switch.
Oh, I know what
Oh,
you mean.
like the wizard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You mean games just for those contests? With,
Yeah.
With different
And they
features.
were said to have been destroyed after...
They were actually buried in the Santa Fe Desert.
Yeah,
I've
right.
heard that.
Fuck that. That's like Nick Cage's next movie.
National Treasures?
No, but I'm curious, like, did you have friends that were doing that shit or something?
My first job ever was at a software etc. in Dallas, Texas. I received $4.50 an hour to demo Street Fighter 2 and Mario Kart to
Software,
people.
etc.
It's like it's like GameStop 20 years ago.
Whoa.
Maybe not 20 years
So
ago, but pretty
is it a
close.
software company? Because that's what's...
No. It's like GameStop.
Oh,
They
it's a retail store.
Yeah, but Nintendo would mail us the copies like you're talking about. With those special features. My mom has some Mario smock that they made me wear, like a painter's smock with just Mario. She
That's
still has
sweet,
it. It's
dude.
probably worth a
What?
shitload of loot.
Yeah. You gotta...
I got Star Fox pins. I used to go into like a KB Toys and like play a game, and if you try to beat the score, or even if you just try, they'll give you like these free like Star Fox pins. That's all I have.
The rarest thing I have is a Game & Watch. This is like the first handheld console they ever built.
It's not even a console, really. It's just sort of
Yeah.
like this little
Game Boy?
It's kind of like those Tiger things that have like...
Oh, one game in them.
Yeah, and it's like shitty, like LEDs that light up, basically.
It's not even, yeah. It doesn't matter what screen, yeah. I remember that shit. Grandmas buy that shit for their grandsons.
Yeah, but the
love those
Game
things.
Watches are sweet though.
Yeah, I used to have Manhole or whatever.
Manhole.
It's not what you think. It's not your typical sort of porn thing.
Okay.
It's not another Saturday night for you.
Okay. Wow, that came out of nowhere. I just got
After
bombed.
your workout.
I just got bombed.
Little post workout gaming.
I'm going to ask my mom if she has that Mario smock.
Dude, I'll buy that off you.
That's probably worth a shitload.
The extent of those tournaments that Nintendo did, the only thing I know about them is from the Wizard, like Randy Savage playing in that.
Randy Savage.
Is that his name? It's like
Macho Man?
Man.
Fred Savage.
Oh,
no,
Jesus Christ.
Randy Savage is Macho Man.
I've told you my Macho Man story. Have I told that on the air?
No, tell it.
My aunt managed a limousine company in the 80s in Sacramento. My grandpa lived in Sacramento, and I loved the Oakland A's growing up in Canseco and McGuire. And so they picked me up in a limo in 1988 or 89. Macho Man and Elizabeth. Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Elizabeth were in the fucking limo. You know, they're just totally normal people. And we dropped them, we rode with them for a half hour, dropped them off, and then drove to Oakland and went to an A's game.
So you hung out with Randy Savage?
Yeah,
At
normal
an A's
dude.
game?
No,
Get
we
an
dropped
autograph?
them off.
Oh, shit.
I can't remember.
Get
This
a
was,
picture.
Did you get a Slim Jim?
I mean,
this was like 1989.
How old were you?
It didn't happen. It just didn't happen.
Dude, I was
11.
1.
Yeah, I was 11.
Shit.
Well, I'm 10 years older than you, dude.
Fuck.
in 20 more years, I'll still be 10 years older than you.
Wow, is that how it works? I didn't realize. I thought you catch up.
He's trying to figure out how to write this in a proof. It's X minus 10 equals Y. I'm X, you're Y. What? Oh, Toby. Oh, there's a dude. There's a guy who works here who's pretty clearly like masking his homosexuality. His name's Toby.
I don't think he's masking it. He's pretty blatant about it. He's holding his foam rubber sword and just
look at his shirt, dude. Look at
miming
his
the injection of a sword in someone's anus.
Look at his shirt.
We made the mistake of choosing a meeting room with a window.
Yeah, we made a big mistake. Do you remember, like, a year ago, we did a show and Rolnick came on the door and kept trying to open it and come in. He talked for 5 minutes, then he bounced.
Yeah, that wasn't that great of a moment for us.
No. He goes, "What are you guys talking about?" And then we locked him out, and because we locked him out, he became more vociferous and angrier, and he kept, like, that's why he's 100 millionaires, because he don't give up. And that motherfucker kept slamming on the door.
Toby, you got anything to
Yeah, if
say?
you want to add something, add it. Otherwise, get the fuck out.
This gift is amazing.
How'd you get a Christmas gift?
1988.
I brought it in. I gave you
Mitchell bought him a TMNT sword.
This is
Nice.
You got me a gift.
It's
I
got
Toby,
Donatello. No.
What's it say on the box?
Raphael.
What's it say on the box?
Is it Raphael's?
I got Toby a Ninja Turtles power suit from
Is it Raphael?
1981.
It's Leonardo.
From 1981?
Yeah.
No,
Something
it's
like
not
that.
1981.
It's like
1988.
88.
nice.
Jesus Christ, Mitchell.
Still in the box. Don't lose that box.
I'm not going to use it.
All right.
It's good shit.
Those pieces.
I paid like
That's funny.
$3.
like $15 for that. I think?
Wow.
Pretty good. Yeah,
That's big money.
$15.
That's a
Yeah,
lot of money to
1500.
Tobes. Tobes acts like he's got a, yeah.
It's a good ass.
Tobes is kind of like Mitchell. Oh, Christ. All right. Sorry about the interruption. This guy with the Hitler haircut, Toby Cochran, just came in and he has a new TMNT sword. Is it?
It's a whole suit.
I think it's a 1980s dildo. I'm not sure.
It wouldn't surprise me if that
Turtle.
guy
Ninja Turtles.
pushed that turtle head right back in Toby's anus. What?
Wow.
Jesus.
What are you doing for
There's no way
Christmas?
to talk about this record.
I'm going to Peru.
I'm going to Chicago.
We've made more Packer jokes the last 10 minutes than the
I know.
whole previous year.
That's what I
17
bring.
minutes of fucking
That's all I bring, apparently. Penis jokes.
Classic China. Yeah, so I'm going to Peru. What about you guys? Let's hear it.
I'm doing nothing. I'm spending Christmas with my family. We make Christmas sweaters and shit like that.
That's
Wholesome
cute.
stuff.
That's cute.
Wholesome stuff.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't know. What do you expect us to be doing?
What do people from China do?
Ask
him, dude. He's
Yeah.
Kill their
It's
firstborn.
just called December 25th.
Yeah,
What?
they don't have
They don't
a
have
white
happiness
god.
in China.
Yeah, they don't have a white man god from the Middle East that they pray to. I'm talking about Jesus.
In
A white
Goodwill-
guy from the Middle East. A white guy. We've convinced minorities to pray to a white guy in the Middle East.
He is the epitome of happiness, as I'm aware of.
Who's Santa or Jesus?
Santa, right? Yeah.
Are these tables
It's a
trouble?
jolly fat white guy, and that's why we value CEOs so much, right?
Wait.
Jolly,
Who's
rich
this fat CEO? You're
white
saying?
people, right? Fat, rich white people? No? Okay.
What?
They're not generous, though, I guess.
Shout out to our fat white listeners.
Hey, we got plenty of that here at the studio. Who are you drawing? Tree?
John Ryan.
China?
Yeah.
Oh, Mitchell's an
I probably
artist, as you know, and he's drawing on the fucking table. I hope that wipes off.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's a
dry
whiteboard
erase
table.
table.
Yeah, let's hear about your Christmas plans, Vysinski.
I'm going to Rock Falls, Illinois.
What are you going to do? Crush ass?
Bringing my girlfriend,
So, will you crush some ass?
most likely.
How often?
It's going to be weird, though, crushing ass in my...
Mom's
I
house.
shouldn't say that.
Why? Chappy?
She's not going to let us sleep in the same room now.
Your mom don't listen to this,
Really?
does she?
She probably does. She's
Hey, Louise. We had a moment. I know we did. It's Ryan.
Wow.
Well, she disabused me of all the falsehoods Mitchell's told me. Like,
I see.
he had told me that his mom hates Asians, that his mom hates gays,
She
and that his
doesn't
sister's
hate anybody.
paraplegic.
She's a very loving lady.
She is loving. I like her a lot.
She's just...
She drove
she
him
grew
up
up-
the wall.
She grew up in a time when Asians were a thing on television, and they were usually...
Thing on television.
Really? Because they're not a thing on television right now.
Yeah. Were they really ever?
No, they were usually played by white people, though. Oh, right.
It's true. Just put glasses and like a a straw hat on someone, and they're
They name
convinced.
their Asian characters by dropping a can down the floor.
Yeah, that's China's go-to Asian joke.
There's a lot of others.
China's very racist.
I am.
The person.
I'm actually a very happy, loving person. I'm just racist.
He's very tender, very moist.
Oh yeah, always moist.
Oh wow, that's good.
Is that?
Look at those pinchable cheeks. China has the most darling pinchable cheeks these eyes have ever done seen.
Wow, you just southern that up, didn't you?
I gated up for you. Oh, those are super slanted.
I'm drawing Ryan right now.
I'm gonna-
Try my
I should
eyes.
talk about
I may shortly have to get a roommate, and if I do have to get a roommate, I want to figure out what's the best way to get a good roommate. And I wanted your guys' advice.
Oh, best way to get a good roommate. I don't even know.
I just want them not to steal my shit, and I just want them to stay in the just not steal my shit. They can talk with me. I like talking with people, but basically don't eat my food and don't leave the door unlocked and be clean.
Well, you just interview them and make sure you ask those questions. Are you okay with not stealing my shit? Is that something you're gonna do? Because if so, we're gonna have a problem.
I lived with a meth head. The cops invaded the house and pulled guns. I lived with a paranoid schizophrenic who yelled at the TV and called it the N-word.
I had when we lived in Daly City,
Yeah.
we put out an ad because we had an open room. We put out an ad for just another roommate, and so we were conducting interviews, and every single person was super shitty. There was one lady who was like 40. She was only the only decent one out of like the 10 people that we interviewed, and she was like 40 years old, and she babysat for a living. And so it's like, I don't know. You're going to find a lot of shady people if you post a Craigslist ad.
Fuck, so how do I do it then? I know what's going to be on
Friends
Craigslist.
of friends.
Yeah.
There could be
friends
someone
of
trying to
friends.
steal my shit.
Yeah, I would get friends of friends.
That's the only way to do it. Yeah, because
Probably.
Craigslist is how I'm
I've
at.
had some shitty experience with roommates when fucking in college, dude.
Yeah, it's like,
Dude, I've told you about the Chinaman who was selling sex slaves, right?
I told you I would stop. I don't understand why you have to make
guy-
a big deal out of
A
it.
guy lived with me. He and his mom were importing from China sex slaves and selling them in San Mateo, California. And then they went to jail. And I found out about it because my old landlord opened up the San Mateo Tribune and found out about this guy, Crazy J, this crazy fucking guy. Oh, here's a good story. 5 years ago, Crazy J, I opened the fridge and his kimchi fell out on the floor, right? This is true. It's like,
holy shit.
how do I describe kimchi? It's just
It's like a pickled
lettuce.
spicy cabbage.
And it fell out on the floor, right? The guy wasn't home, so I threw it up because the bottle broke.
Right.
I threw it out. He gets home. I get home the next day, and all of my food is in the trash. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Dude, you threw out my kimchi." I'm like,
What?
"Your kid?" And you didn't. He goes, "You threw out my kimchi, and you didn't tell me." I go, "You weren't home, and it was all over the floor, and I didn't think you wanted to eat it." He's like, "Well, I threw out your stuff." I'm like,
Oh,
this isn't going to stand. Dude. I was like, what are you, 5? I didn't do it on purpose. He goes, that's it. He starts taking off his jacket, and we go out in the backyard, right? He takes off his jacket. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this, dude? I'm like, oh. He goes, yes. Now, this guy's like 5'7", 150. So basically, all I do is shove him, and he flies onto the ground. He gets up and screams at his girlfriend to call 911. So he started this fight.
What?
That's how Asians win, though. They just use the law and math or whatever,
So
Rubik's Cube.
They can't take you on directly. They'll figure a way out to just
But-
weasel themselves out.
I accidentally spilled his kimchi and was willing to buy him more, and his response was to throw my food into the trash and then wanted to fight me. And then call 911 when he realized that was a bad idea.
I might have told this one already, but I lived with this guy who was like, his name's Jordan.
Yeah.
I went to art school, so there's a lot of weird kids, but this guy was like super cool freshman year, and then he like started believing in Buddhism or something, and so he got really, really crazy. Well, not crazy, he's a super nice guy, but he's just a little like different, I guess.
Right.
And so this guy is like super passive, super quiet, and we lived in a three floor place in Milwaukee for like $300 each a month.
Mm-hmm.
3 guys, and we only occupied the floor that we wanted to heat because it got really fucking cold in the winter. And the back door didn't shut because this place is just like really shitty, and so it would like swing around in the wind at night, and we didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden we heard like rustling in the top floor in the attic, and we go up there. It's like, I think there was we were all drinking and it was 12 at night or something, and we go up to the top floor, and we peek in there and we find out there's a homeless guy living in our attic.
Oh my.
You never
And,
heard about this? This
no.
was last year.
This is last year. Holy
He's
shit.
this big Russian homeless dude named Edward. We call him. He was is Edvard, and he fucking
Little Baby Roots. or
That's
something.
incredible.
Like,
Baby Roots. What?
fucking Goonies or something.
It was a sloth joke.
Oh, okay. Basically, it was kind of like that actually. But he would come down with pickled things, and he would give it to us.
Oh, I would
And,
not eat that.
But
Tickle, tickle.
where's the pickle, bitch?
There's a pickle jar here.
Yeah, there's a pickle jar.
The juice.
One of these
Find
deals-
a pickle.
And there's just one pink pickle, and you're supposed to grab it and tug until you got it out.
But we would drink with the guy because it was just a house full of guys, and we would always have other dudes over. It was just a big sausage festival full of drunk college guys, and so we partied with this homeless guy on a regular basis, and then all of a sudden he comes down on a Wednesday when we got class at 8 the next day, and so we're trying to go to bed at a normal hour, and he wants to party, and he gets super hammered alone while we're watching Seinfeld, and we were like, all right, Edward, we've got to go to bed. And
So you have to talk in his accent for him to understand you. Hey, Edward, we must now go to bed. Sounds like Chavi.
Sounds like Dracula.
Yeah, or Chavi.
So we asked him to leave. He didn't want to leave, so... Oh, and I tried to sober him up by giving him water. I gave him a cup of water, and he fucking took the water out of my hand and drank a gulp and then spat it all over our kitchen. And that's when we forcefully pushed him outside, and he...
You know how dangerous it was to let that person
Yeah.
live in your house? He's probably
I mean,
schizophrenic.
there's a reason why the guy's homeless.
Yeah. He went upstairs, he came back down, knocked on the door, and then tried to talk to us some more, and he was peeling an apple with a knife.
Yeah, that's gonna get you.
And then
Dude, this sounds like a horror movie. Hey, boys, gather round.
we asked him to leave. We were like, all right, man, we really gotta go. Because we really were hesitant to open the door. And then when we opened the door, we asked him to leave. We had to forcefully push him out the door. And he pulled a knife on my Buddhist roommate's neck and held it to his neck. And then we had to grab the homeless dude's arm and pry it off.
Save
And
me.
How many Mitchells does it take to subdue one?
I don't know.
7.
and then we called the cops right after. And 7 cops show up at our house because they're probably bored in Milwaukee. Not much to do, but
I thought this was in Daly City.
no, this is in college.
Oh,
And they
his Daly City house was quite a house too.
they tased the shit out of him and then took him.
There were more pubes in his Daly City house bathroom than we've ever. Dude, it was like a convention for Jerry Curl. There were pubes everywhere.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, I lived with a guy who was paranoid schizophrenic, and he thought that my dog Braveheart, who's dead now, was reading his mind, and he called 911 on my dog. This is true. The cop shows up, and I'm sitting there with the guy. His name was Brian, and I'm like, you. So at first I'm like, I'm going to tell him that my dog can't read his mind, but he's already decided that my dog can read his mind. So instead, I just take the other angle. I'm like, all right, let's say Braveheart can read minds. Trust me, dude, he'd be out trying to read Broad's minds to decide who he could fuck. He wouldn't read your mind. There's no
You
reason.
think you would fuck human girls?
He would tell me which ones I could bang, and
Well,
then I would.
dogs hump legs. So.
Yeah, remember your dog, Mr. Cuppers. Mitchell's dog would hump anything, dude, with a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so I finally convinced this schizophrenic that Braveheart, if he could read minds, would try to read Broad's minds to fuck them rather than read Brian's mind. Schizophrenia is a serious disease. It's real serious. All those killers that snap and go into schools and kill people, a lot of the times they're schizophrenic.
You ever watch videos of Charles Manson? It's fascinating. He's like a weird motherfucker. He somehow he had the influence enough to convince all those young people to kill
young
other
people are easy to convince. You just got to get a girl to orgasm for the first time. She'll pretty much do anything you want. You know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about with how much ass you guys have crushed. I'm young. You mean 16? How old were the girls?
I think they were 18, 19.
Yeah, they were old enough. China.
Sure.
Sorry, audience, about China.
I guess
China
I'm a
only
little
fucks
crude
50-year-olds. Yeah, he only
now.
fucks 50-year-olds.
Hey, what the fuck?
If you're 50-year-olds,
Even.
Yeah, email us at podblast2k12@gmail.com. China has a holster of dildos, and he loves Star Wars.
he wears a little tool belt.
Evidently,
Oh, there's
Sure.
Paul. All right, we hit 30 minutes. Well, I guess we'll do it. When are you coming back?
The 23rd.
Oh, so you'll be back in a week. We might do one before I go to Peru for all you audience members listening.
Yep.
I'd certainly like to thank China for showing up.
Oh, this is a
Yeah.
treat. This is certainly a treat.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
All right, well, have a good Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas.
You got to drop any lines before we go?
No, but you can
You got a Twitter?
you can find me on Twitter at Stern Ryan, STERN Ryan, RYAN.
You got a Twitter, right?
I got nothing. No.
He's got nothing.
Nothing? You, if you got to talk to me or China Ryan, email us at podblast@2k12 at
Podblast2k12 at gmail.com.
Thank you.
Peace
I'll try
out.
to make myself more available.
Peace out, bitches. Motherfuckers.